Yo yo, I'm Micks Mowers Merman and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be working on my rather nice 1954 Atco Midget with a Kickstarter engine. This machine I picked up a while back last year. It was fully restored about 10 years ago, and it had then spent the rest of its life sat inside a lawnmower repair shop in Bognor. Now, Bognor no longer has a lawnmower repair shop, not one that I can remember anyway. And this had been restored at the time and just sat in the window. Apparently, it's all had all new piston, new cranks, it's had new bushes and what have you. It's all been done. The blade was sharpened, and the rolls were done about 10 years ago. So yeah, super happy with it. It's an absolute steal for what it was. And I will be doing a complete restoration again, just to bring it up again, because the paint has gone in places. But at the moment, I want to put it away along with my Atco standard, which is behind you. I want to put it away in what I call my vintage store, which will be put away for the winter, because I've got a few other machines in here and space is getting a little bit tight. So I want to get all my machines best I can out of the weather during the winter time, so that they don't get destroyed by the harsh winter weather. But this one here, I did find out when I was doing a carburetor clean on it, it did start to crack a little bit of a leak. And the reason is the fuel line's broken. So I want to place a fuel line on it, but the fuel line is a little bit different to what they are on normal lawnmowers. This is a two-stroke machine with a Villers engine. I'd say 1954. I'll show you the plate on it in a minute. It just screams English, and what a better way to start a lawnmower than with a kickstart like on a motorbike. Absolutely brilliant. So we'll get that done in a bit. Hi, Pippi. But I want to change the fuel line over to a newer one. Unfortunately, it won't be original, which is a really big shame, but the fuel line just perished over time. So that's what it is. So let's get that done. If it's your first time in watching Micks Mowers and Merman, hit the old subscribe button or whack the old bell. Set your notifications to all. That way you'll be told next time I upload another video. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's get this Atco Villers Kickstart lawnmower fitted with a brand spanking new fuel line. Right, so we're around the back of the old lawnmower, and this is the offending article. This pipe, although it's lovely and brass and what have you, and just screams originality, it's absolutely solid. And what happened was I went to a carburetor clean on it. I took this pipe off of here, twisted it round, and it snapped the pipe in half. I had to do a temporary repair, but not very happy with myself about it. But it's just what it is. So these, the reason I say that these sort of pipes are just a little bit different is because these have like what's called a banjo fitting on here. So take this off, there's a little fibre washer just on the side there with a little tiny, let me get that off, a little tiny screen there, a little tiny fuel screen, and that's where the fuel goes into that hole through there. So yeah, kind of cool. So that goes onto there, and then it's got to undo the nut off of here. Now I don't think there's any fuel in this tank. I might have to turn the fuel off. I think I ran it out. Let's just turn that fuel off just in case. It would have come out there anyway. I'm going to grab my adjustable here, and we're going to nick off this fuel line here. And as you can see, I can't even twist the fuel line because it's all just gone solid on me. So I've got to try and force it off. There it goes. Now, what I might do, I might keep this fuel line, and what I might do on my new one at some point, I might remove the brass fittings off of it and convert that over to my other fuel line. That's what I might do, just to try and keep it original. Because the new fuel line, despite the fact I've got it from like a Villers sort of old stock stuff, this is a new old stock Villers line for it. It just isn't the same. It just isn't the same. It just literally brass and alley. It's just we're not liking it, Mick, are we? No, we're not. So to change this one over, so it's quite a quick little job, quick little video. And I'm hoping it's all going to fit, and I'll give the right numbers. And if it's an old stock one, it should all fit lovely. Let's just try and fit that up onto there. Yeah, that fits nice. Good. So I want a winner there. Let me get my adjustables. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep the brass fittings, and then we'll just try and get someone to press them back onto this original one. But I don't know where you can find. If anyone knows where you can find the actual piping for that, that'd be cool. That'd be brilliant if someone can find me the piping. But as you can see, look, that's what happens. It's got a wire in there, but it's just gone hard over the years, and it's just had it. But if anyone knows where I can get that sort of fuel line, give me a shout, please. That'd be cool. Pip! Come on, Pip. In you come, in your bed. Right, so we nick that up. Nothing needs to be too tight on here. And then we can then work this round. I'm hoping that's all going to fit. It does. That's lush. Bring that down through. I'm going to sit that into there. Like that. There's got a little fibre washer this side. I'm going to nick that up. Hold that nice, and you don't have to hang on it, guys. You just gotta nick it up. That's it. That'll do. Now that fuel tank, that carburetor seems to be a little bit loosey goosey. So I'm just going to bring this round here. I just want to nick up my carburetor. Yeah, it's a bit loosey goosey. There you go. It goes on there like that. I'll grab myself a little tiny flathead driver. I'm just going to nick that up. Let's have it up like that. Oh, I can get to it. Now, once I've done that, that's pretty much it. Job done. But I just thought I wanted to bring it to you, just so you can see the old Villers Atco Midget kickstart engine one more time. It's always a fear to over tighten brake stuff on these machines. But here's on the other side the identification plate. So down here, let me take off the old perch. Down here you've got an ID plate, okay? So here's my ID plate, there it is there. And it says 1454 NME, okay? Now the 14 is the width for cut and the last two numbers of 54 is the year of manufacture. Okay, so mine's a 14-inch 1954. So that's how you identify them. As I say, this machine was fully restored back in the day. It comes with a little tiny pepper pot style exhaust pipe. The earlier ones come with like a torpedo exhaust, which I quite like, but I quite like this style myself. From what I understand, it's all pretty much original now, all apart from the fuel line. And even the cylinder itself, it looks absolutely fantastic. It was freshly ground before it went away, and it cuts grass like you would not believe. So that's all good. So shall we, rather than me sitting here talking about it, how would you feel if I mix up a bit of petrol and take it out for one last little spin before we put it away for the winter? So stick around. I'm going to go and get some fuel, put it in the old girl, see if it'll start. Hopefully it will do. And if it starts, I'll do a couple of little stripes on the old lawn, put it to work, and then once we're done, I'll drain the fuel back out again, and then we can put it away for storage and get it out another day just when I'm in the mood for it. So this is the sort of machines that I like to keep, because you can just get them out as and when you feel like it, fire it up, listen to that sound, up and down the lawn a few times, a bit of a novelty, and go from there. I did try to sell it at one point, but there wasn't a lot of interest in it. But maybe I was asking a bit too much money for it. But it is, in fact, it is a good example. So we should see. It may go up for sale another day. We should see. If anyone's interested in it, give me a shout. If the money's right, I may let it go. But if not, it'll stay with me. I put a blanket over it, and it'll just stay there for another 10 years. And so 1954, it's sneaking on. It's sneaking on to a good age. So we'll go from there. New fuel line just been fitted now. Old fuel line, I'm gonna keep that, as I say. I'm gonna try and remove the brass cup links, open them up, and then I'm gonna try and find, if someone knows where I can actually get that sort of style fuel line. As I say, this fuel line it's got like metal inside it. You see, it's like a honeycomb. So if anyone knows where you can actually buy that stuff, give me a shout, and I'll try and get this made back up again. I dare say that's probably clear, and it's gone yellow over the years. But I want to try and keep the brass fittings if I can. So that'd be good. I'll keep hold of that. Right, out onto the lawn, bit of fresh fuel, get the old midget up, running and fired, and I'll show you it all running. Because I tell you something, you want to be quite quick for it to keep up this machine, because it does get a little bit of a lick on. It's not one for the slow walkers, so I'll see you in 2 ticks. Right, so just mix the old fuel up, but unfortunately got a bit of a leak, so I've got a fibre washer on here. I'm just going to put another fibre washer on. I think it's just weeping slightly out this side of it, so I'll put that on there, just to help out a little bit. I probably had 2 on there. I probably lost it when I was looking at replacing the fuel line and getting some specifications off of it. So quick little pit stop just to make sure it's right, and then hopefully that will stop said fuel leak. Let's just nick that up. Right, let's turn the fuel back on now, see what we're getting there. I had a fuel leak coming out the bottom as well. I think I've had the carburetor apart at some point. Probably when I was looking at doing the pipe on it. But just going to quickly just let that sit now, just for 2 or 3 seconds, just to make sure we've got no fuel leaks going on. Now, the carburetor itself may actually need to be cleaned, because it has been sat in my shed for about, I don't know, about 7 months doing nothing. So it doesn't look like I've got no leaks, which is a good thing, right? So yeah, I think we'll go with that. Let's get it outside and we'll go for a little fire up. Right. Atco kickstart next to the Atco standard. Let's try and fire it up. Now, I've not fired this for about 6 or 7 months, as I say. So a bit of throttle, bit of twiddling on the old carby. There's a fuel, lovely. We'll go choke. See what happens. It should go. Go on. Yeah, that fired. A bit of half choke. Well, that's not bad. For 1954, been sat up for 7 months, 7, 8 months, and it jumps into life. Now, it baffles me why people want to go battery power when you can listen to that absolutely fantastic little 2-stroke engine on this lawnmower. Absolutely baffles me. Why would you want to do that? Look at it. You won't get that sense of achievement and feeling of cutting your grass without hearing that sort of noise. It is an acquired taste. I'm only sort of giving my feeling on it, you know. But Atco standard, kickstart, lawnmower, 2-stroker, smoky, aggressive. Oh yeah, baby. So, let's get onto the lawn. Let's get onto the lawn. I'll get you guys set up behind me. About there somewhere. Let's get you set up. I just want to do a couple of turns on it. Now, as I say to you, this is not a machine for the faint-hearted. I gave it a conker once, my mate Conker, to have a go on, and he took off like a whippet. So, what we're going to do is, make sure I'm recording. Yeah, I am. What I'm going to do is, when you engage the clutch on these, just by pushing the lever up and over to the right, give it a little bit of a push as you're going. So, up on the revs, start moving, revs, well, that's cutting short too. Now, it is like a 2-finger process, one on the clutch and one on the throttle. It must have hands on it at all times. A little bit low on the throttle for me. Let's start it back up. And that's probably a lot lower than what I'd normally cut my grass. But it'll grow back. Now, as you can see, by just the grass cuttings alone, come on, Pip, how much is taking off? There's the grass cuttings. Cut beautifully. Pip. And look how short that's cut that, look. In comparison. That. So it's a little bit low, but there you go, it's what it is. Have to set the height a bit higher. But look at the difference in line. Oh, you've taken it right down. But what a lovely little machine. What a lovely little machine. Let me go and empty the grass box out, and I might just change the height slightly because it is just a little bit low. Right, so let's get the height changed. So I'm going to push into the sun to get a bit of a better view. Just turn it off because you don't want to be mucking with this height control when it's running. Not the best of advice. So just crack that nut off. Now the markers are not as accurate as the others, so you just have to go a bit careful when you adjust the height on them, just to sort of make sure it all beds down together right. So that's gone up higher. I think we just go just a touch more. So it is possible for you to actually not have the height set quite right on these. You tip that back just a touch. Just so I can get this this to move a bit better. It's not quite freely moving. I want it all to move as free as I can. It's not quite, that's better. Right, now we're at the top, so let's come back to around about, because what happens is you can twist the height for rollers. So what I tend to do is I have a line here, and I'm going to mark that 1, 2, 3. We'll go level 4 on there. Just lift that one up. And we'll go 1, 2, 3. Not quite there, Mick. It's going to be about there. Level 4. And this is where you would need your depth gauger tester on the bed knife to test the exact same heights. But that'll be a bit higher now, so that'll just be taking the tops off the old lawn rather than scalping it. Right, let's try that, shall us? See what that does. That should be a little bit more forgiving on the old lawn. So I'll bring you guys in the shade a bit because 1, my camera might overheat, and 2, that looks kind of nice like that. Right, now it has been tipped back a bit, so it won't alight that. So I may take a bit of fuel into the head. We'll see if it starts or not. Yeah. Right, let's go again. Yeah, that's better. Where'd my dog go? Pip, come on, Pip, come on. It just cuts so fantastically well. 1954. This machine is definitely hand-eye coordination. You've got to have both hands on it to control it. Pip, come on. Good girl. And see what happened there. Because I was watching my dog, I lost control of the mower. That happens, I was watching her. Your fault, Pip. It takes and get used to it because you've got to have one finger on the throttle controlling that and on the clutch at the same time. So it's up on the throttle, on the clutch, off the throttle, off the clutch. Give it a pip. It's just a lovely machine, guys. And you haven't got to go fast. You haven't got to go fast at all. Come down this way down here, there's a bit more grass down this way. It's striping really well, actually. Throttle, off the clutch. Look at that. Absolutely chewing that grass up. Now we'll try. I'll tell you what I can do. Actually, on my camera, I've got this brand new magnet mount. Let me go and get that because I can't do it free-handed. 2 seconds. Right, now I've got you mounted on the side of a lawnmower. I don't know how well it's going to look, guys, because it's vibrating quite a bit. We'll see how we get on. Bit of revs. So now you're sat right on top of a lawnmower. Oh, could be kissing goodbye to my camera in a minute. I say that this machine does take. I'm watching my camera at the same time, trying to cut the grass for you guys. So there you go. Do you know what? It doesn't do a bad little job for a little tiny 1954 machine. It don't do a bad little job. Mrs. P's outside. Hi, Mrs. P. Have a wave. There she is. She's hanging and washing up. So put a few little lines in there. The grass is quite long, to be fair, but it's cut really, really well. It's cut really well. But it isn't a machine that you can just glide along with. This machine is a bit like taming the beast. You've got to have one hand on that throttle, one hand on the clutch at all times to get anything out of it, because otherwise the machine just keeps cutting out, because you have to switch one off, turn one on, switch one off. It's not a machine for the faint-hearted. But it cuts really, really well. I'm really happy with it. It's a lovely little machine. And it runs absolutely beautifully, no issues at all. Idles. What more could you want from an idling machine? Because it's two-stroke, you don't have to worry about how low the idle goes, but that's about as low as it'll go before it cuts out. So have a little listen to that. Pop, pop, pop. There's not many lawnmowers nowadays that sound like that. Isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful thing? And it cuts out. But it only wants the idler screw setting in. That's all it wants. And to be fair, the machine, since I've had it, I did a carburetor clean. You can tell it's been fully restored because it just starts on the button every time. And what a better thing to do than to actually have a lawnmower that starts like a motorbike on a kickstart. So there you go, just thought I'd bring it to you one more time. It'll come out another day. But a lovely little lawnmower from Atco, 1954, midget with a kickstart and a deadly little clutch. Oh. So there you go, Atco kickstart now back up and running. Quick little drink, I'm sweating. Man, that's not a machine to have if you're unfit or if it's 150 degrees outside. That's red hot out there. So, so that machine just had a new fuel leap on it because my one was knackered. If anyone knows where I can get an original one for those, or if you've got an original one, please let me know. I am really, really interested because that's what I want. And that'd be good. So it cuts, do you know what, that machine cuts absolutely fantastically. 1954, British engineering, screams out nostalgia about British engineering back in the day. And compared to the, some of the battery power stuff that's coming out, which, it has its place. I can't say it doesn't because it does. It has its place. But for a little bit of fun, I would get that out every single year and fire it up for as long as I'm alive, and just keep firing it up and keep cutting the lawn with it. Just to hear that sound and smell that fuel, and just, oh man, it is lovely. But there you go. It's not one for the tree huggers. That's a definite. And it is a gnarly machine. My friend Conker came around a little while ago, and when I last had it out, and anyone who knows Conker will know what I'm referring to. He had it ticking over running there, and I went past and flicked the clutch, and he was off like a whippet round the lawn for about half an hour. It's great. Oh, it's one of the funniest days of my life. It was really good seeing Conker run around my lawn. But yeah, it's a lovely little machine, and if anyone is seriously interested in it, let me know. Email me up. And if the money's right, I will let it go because I can't keep hold of everything I've got. I've got Atco stands, I've got Dennis's, I've got Suffolks, I've got Ransoms, I've got all sorts here. I can't keep them all, but that machine, do you know what? If someone's going to really look after it and really use it well and what have you, I'll be happy to see the back of it. But if not, I'm in no rush. I can just put a blanket over it and just leave it there, take the fuel back out of it again so all the fuel's drained out, take the fuel cap off, put a dust sheet over it, and just leave it for another 9-10 months, and I'll get it back out again and fire it up again for you. If you want to see more of those little videos of the Atco standard kickstart or my old Ransom that I've fully restored, you want to see me get that out, or even the Dennis. The Dennis may have to make an appearance at some point because I have now got another lift table down here. I'm making room. So I may have to get the Dennis out at some point, but the Dennis is not funny because the Dennis is 375 kilos. And it's a hell of a mission just to get it out of the shed, put it up into here just to do a carburetor clean. Once the Dennis is in, it's staying in until it's fully done. It's as simple as that. But I need to have the space down that end to do it. I can't be having it coming and going out because it's just not going to happen. So, but if you like the old little vintage stuff, then let me know. I'll try and do a few more videos on the vintage stuff and try and keep you interested if I can. And there we go. So thank you very much for watching this little episode of Micks Mowers and Merman on how to replace your banjo fuel pipe fitting on your Atco kickstart machine, which is a Villers carburetor. And if you enjoyed it, give us a big old thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not, because I've got loads and loads of videos, nearly 1,000 videos on this channel of different mowers, strimmers, weed whackers, trimmers, whacker packers. I've got pretty much most of them on here. Just have a little look. If it's something takes your fancy, sit down with a nice beer or a cup of tea and have a little watch. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Micks Mowers with Merman, and I look forward to seeing this episode very, very soon. But until then, guys and girls, much more importantly, take it easy.